The lights dimmed, the crowd buzzed, and for a brief second the world seemed to hold its breath. Before the judges even looked up, before a single note was sung, there was something different in the air. You could feel it, the kind of tension that makes your heart beat a little faster. This was one of those moments where anything could happen, where dreams either collapse or explode into something unforgettable. And right there, standing alone on the AGT stage, was a Filipino singer no one truly expected, but no one would ever forget. He walked out quietly, shoulders slightly tense, hands trembling just enough to reveal how much this moment meant to him. He smiled, not the confident smile of a superstar, but the humble smile of someone who had waited a lifetime for one chance. The judges exchanged quick glances. Simon leaned back, arms crossed. The audience clapped politely, unsure. Somewhere in the crowd, a small Filipino flag waved, held by someone who believed, maybe the only one who truly did. If you've ever chased a dream that felt bigger than you, you already know how heavy that walk to center stage feels. When the judges asked his name, his voice shook just a little. He spoke about growing up in the Philippines, about long nights listening to old songs on a worn-out radio, about Elvis Presley becoming his escape from a hard life. Music wasn't just entertainment for him, it was survival. He talked about working small jobs, singing at family gatherings, being told over and over that dreams like this were for other people. And yet, there he was. On the biggest stage in the world. If that alone doesn't deserve your respect, then what does? The music started. Soft at first. Almost too soft. Simon's eyebrow lifted. A judge leaned forward. The audience waited. And then, boom. The first powerful note hit the room like a lightning strike. Gasps rippled through the theater. Eyes widened. Jaws dropped. Within seconds, everything changed. This wasn't someone copying Elvis. This wasn't a gimmick. This was raw power, soul, and emotion pouring straight from the heart. His voice carried the fire of Elvis but the pain, hope, and resilience of his own journey. Every word felt lived in, every note heavy with meaning. The crowd erupted, clapping mid-performance, something that rarely happens. Simon uncrossed his arms. His expression shifted from doubt to shock. You could literally see the moment he realized, this was special. This was one of those auditions. As the performance built, so did the emotion. The singer closed his eyes, as if the world disappeared and it was just him and the music. In that moment, you weren't watching a contestant, you were watching a man relive every struggle, every rejection, every late-night dream whispered into the dark. And the audience felt it. People stood. Some cried. Others screamed. The energy was electric. Then came the final note. Strong. Fearless. Perfectly held. Silence followed, just a heartbeat long, but it felt endless. And then the explosion. The entire theater rose to its feet. Cheers thundered through the room. The judges stood, clapping hard. Simon shook his head in disbelief, smiling the kind of smile that says, "I did not see that coming." The world had gasped, and it wanted more. The singer's hands flew to his mouth. Tears welled in his eyes. This was the moment he had imagined 1,000 times but never truly believed would come true. When the judges spoke, their words were filled with praise, but one comment stood out: this wasn't just a performance, it was a reminder of why this stage exists. To find voices that don't just sing, but move people. And right here, if this story is touching your heart, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this deserve to be shared, because somewhere out there, someone needs to believe that dreams like these are still possible. When the results were announced, the crowd held its breath again. The singer stood frozen, barely able to breathe. And when the decision went his way, he dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. Years of struggle released in one unstoppable wave of emotion. This wasn't just a win, it was validation. Proof that talent, when mixed with perseverance and heart, can cross oceans and change lives. As he walked off the stage, he wasn't just a Filipino Elvis anymore. He was a symbol. A reminder that greatness doesn't belong to one place, one accent, or one background. It belongs to anyone brave enough to step into the light and sing their truth, even when the world doubts them. And that's the real message here. Never let where you come from decide how far you can go. Never let fear silence the song inside you. Because sometimes, all it takes is a few seconds on a stage, and the whole world will gasp. The moment the screen lights up, before a single word is spoken, there is a feeling that something unforgettable is about to happen. The audience is restless, the judges look tired after hours of auditions, and the world watching from home is scrolling, half distracted, ready to skip if nothing exciting happens in the first few seconds. Then the camera cuts to the wings of the stage, and you see him. A Filipino man, standing alone, breathing deeply, hands clasped together, eyes lifted for just a second as if whispering a silent prayer. This is not just another audition. This is a life about to change. And before you even realize it, you're already hooked, already leaning in, already wondering how this story will end. He steps onto the stage, and the applause is polite but uncertain. He doesn't look like a superstar. He looks like someone you might pass on the street without noticing. Simple clothes, modest posture, a nervous smile that flickers across his face and disappears just as quickly. The judges glance at their notes. Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, expression unreadable. How many dreams have already stood on this stage today? How many hopeful faces have walked out believing this was their moment, only to walk back broken? The weight of that reality hangs in the air. When he introduces himself, his accent is gentle, his voice respectful. He talks about coming from the Philippines, about growing up in a small home where music was always present but opportunities were not. He explains how Elvis Presley became his inspiration, how those songs played on an old radio helped him forget hunger, fear, and doubt, even if only for a few minutes. As he speaks, the crowd quiets. There is something honest in his words, something unpolished but real. You can tell he is not here to impress with stories. He is here because this stage might be his last chance. He mentions his family, the sacrifices, the people who told him to be realistic, to choose a safer path, to stop dreaming so loudly. He smiles when he says it, but his eyes tell a deeper story. They tell of years spent holding on to hope when it would have been easier to let go. If you've ever been told you're dreaming too big, you feel it right here, right now. The music cue is given. The band is ready. The judges nod. For a split second, there is silence. That kind of silence that feels heavy, where the entire room seems to pause. He closes his eyes. The first note comes out soft, controlled, almost cautious. Some people in the audience exchange looks. Simon raises an eyebrow. Is this going to be another safe imitation? Another tribute that never quite takes off? And then everything changes. In the span of seconds, his voice opens up, powerful and commanding, filling the theater with a sound that feels both familiar and completely new. It's Elvis, yes, but it's also something else. It's struggle. It's survival. It's a lifetime of unspoken emotion finally finding its way out. Gasps ripple through the crowd. A judge's mouth falls open. Simon leans forward, eyes locked on the stage. This is no longer background noise. This is a moment. The singer moves with confidence now, every note stronger than the last. His voice rises, rich and textured, carrying the spirit of Elvis while telling his own story at the same time. The audience begins to clap in rhythm, not because they are told to, but because they can't help themselves. This performance is pulling them in, wrapping around their hearts. People stand up. Some hold their hands over their mouths. Others wipe away tears they didn't expect to shed. As the song builds, you can see the transformation happening right in front of you. The nervous man who walked onto the stage is gone. In his place stands an artist fully alive in his element. His movements are natural, not forced. His confidence doesn't come from arrogance but from belief. Belief that this moment matters. Belief that his voice deserves to be heard. The camera cuts to the judges. One is smiling widely. Another nods in disbelief. Simon's expression is the most telling, focused, intense, almost stunned. He has seen thousands of auditions. Very few surprise him anymore. This one does. You can see it. And the audience at home feels it too. This is the point where people stop scrolling, stop multitasking, and just watch. When the final chorus hits, the singer pours everything he has into it. Every struggle, every rejection, every late night wondering if this dream was foolish, it's all there in that sound. The final note is held strong and steady, ringing through the theater long after the band stops. Silence follows, thick and electric. For one heartbeat, the entire world is quiet. Then the explosion comes. The crowd erupts into cheers so loud they shake the room. A full standing ovation. People scream his name. The judges rise to their feet. Simon claps hard, shaking his head as if he can't believe what he just witnessed. The singer stands frozen, eyes wide, tears forming. He covers his mouth, overwhelmed. This reaction is bigger than anything he imagined in his wildest dreams. The judges begin to speak, but their words almost struggle to keep up with the emotion of the moment. They praise not just the voice, but the authenticity, the courage it took to stand there and deliver something so real. One judge says this performance reminded them why they fell in love with music in the first place. Another calls it unforgettable. Then Simon speaks, and the room goes quiet again. His words are honest, direct, and powerful. He admits he was skeptical. He admits he didn't expect this. And then he says something that changes everything. This is the kind of audition people remember for years. If this moment is giving you chills right now, if you're feeling that rush of inspiration, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this don't just entertain, they remind us why we should never stop believing. The results are announced, and the tension returns. The singer grips his hands together, eyes closed, barely breathing. When the decision comes in his favor, his legs give out. He drops to his knees, crying openly, thanking God, thanking the judges, thanking the audience. This is not just a yes. This is validation after years of doubt. This is proof that his voice, his journey, his life, all of it matters. As he leaves the stage, backstage cameras catch him calling his family. His voice breaks as he tells them what happened. On the other end of the line, there are screams, tears, prayers of gratitude. Somewhere in the Philippines, a small home fills with joy so big it can barely be contained. This moment didn't just change one life. It changed many. In the days that follow, the video spreads across the internet. Millions of views. Headlines everywhere. The world gasped. Filipino Elvis shocks AGT. People from all over the globe comment, sharing their own stories of struggle and hope. For so many, this performance becomes more than entertainment. It becomes motivation. And that's the true power of this moment. Not the fame. Not the applause. But the message. That talent can come from anywhere. That dreams don't have a nationality. That even if the world doubts you, all it takes is one moment of courage to prove them wrong. This singer didn't just blow up the AGT stage in seconds. He reminded us that no matter how small you feel, no matter how long the odds are, your voice deserves to be heard. And sometimes, when you finally let it out, the whole world will stop, gasp, and listen.